I guess BRICS as well is a organization who's, I think it's China, Russia, Brazil, etc., commodities based. They're looking to bring in sort of maybe a commodities backed reserve currency. Do you see that as maybe a solution to what you mentioned before, where fiat currencies really devalue?
Yeah, look, I've talked about this before, and I actually did a presentation on this called Cry Wolf back in I think 2018, crikey, 4 years ago. And what I suggested there was that at some point the financial system will reach the point we're at now, where it's going to fragment, and at that point gold will be reintroduced. Now, that's not to say we're going to go back onto a gold standard, but if you're going to stabilize a financial system, you need a neutral reserve asset, and that will be gold. All the central banks will go back to gold. Gold will be put at the center of the financial ecosystem once more to try and stabilize and get everything priced off that to calm everything down. And they will work as quickly as they can to remove gold from the system, because it's such a fantastic handbrake on politicians and central banks writing unbacked checks. So, if the BRICS nations, if China and Russia and Turkey, India, Brazil, all these countries do start to decide that the West is reeling, which it is, and particularly what we've seen in the energy markets, people are starting to realize that the only real reserve currency is energy. If you have it, you have a massive advantage. And so all the countries that have been digging things out of the ground and selling them might start to think quite seriously about digging things out of the ground and creating a basket that is priced off them, because it will do them no harm. And I think that's the way we're headed. Now, how quickly it happens, or even if it happens, is unknowable. But if you look at the problems facing East and West, it's a very sensible solution for the weaker half of that. And even though you could argue that Western economies are every bit as weak as their Eastern counterparts, there's still this projection of power from the West, because they do run the financial system. They do have the dollar backing it. They do tend to be at the heart of everything that goes on in financial markets. But the East has all the things that people need now. And so I think we are going to see a move towards doing this. We're seeing it away from the headlines, away from the front pages. We have been for a number of years now. My friend Luke Gromman has chronicled this brilliantly for a number of years. It's all happening. Payment rails are being put in place and bilateral agreements are being signed, and you are creating this group of people who at some point are likely to say, okay, we are going to launch our own parallel financial system. You're welcome to be involved. We're not going to exclude anybody. But if you want to trade with us, and if you want to be a part of this financial system, the dollar is not the king. We're going to have a Bancor type currency that will be based off a basket of commodities and gold and whatever else. And this is how we're going to function. If you don't want to be a part of it, that's absolutely fine. But you're going to struggle to trade with more than half the population of the planet, and that makes things tricky. So we're in for an awful lot of change, and it's the kind of change that people struggle to get their heads around, because it only really happens once in a lifetime, if that, if not once in 2 or 3 lifetimes. And normally these are things you read about, and you can read about them all you want, but if you don't experience them, they're just abstract. We're living through history now, and we're going to see things that we've read about in textbooks and history books, and they're going to look an awful lot different up close than they do jumping off the page at you.